Everybody, and welcome back to FSi DFS. I'm McKinley 412. About to break down this 10-game main slate on DraftKings for Saturday. Excuse me. No weather that we have to really be paying attention to. It's going to be hot. Ball's going to be traveling. Would not shock me if a couple of these teams can hit that 10-run total. Just alone by themselves. Not just game totals, but I think team totals. It would not surprise me if 2 or 3 of these guys hit double digits. So. A lot of still good pitchers that we could be targeting for sure, but I do think a lot of the bats are going to kind of reign supreme today, given the weather, given the pitching, and all that stuff. So we'll just kind of go through the pitchers, go through the bats, kind of talk about builds a little bit, and then that'll be it. So Garrett Cole, Brandon Woodruff, those are your top 2 guys on this slate by far. Garrett Cole going up against Baltimore. He entered the All-Star break just on an amazing run, back-to-back games of 35 and 37 DK points. Now he's going on the road against Baltimore, a team that, just is not the team that we saw in early July on that massive win streak. I think that was just more of a fluke. He's already faced them twice so far this season. He's got 23 DK points on average in them. So I think Cole is probably going to be your SP1. Woodruff, though, if you want to be a little bit more contrarian, I think Cole's probably going to see more of the ownership. Woodruff, I think, is a fine option as well. He's got some major home road splits. On the road, ERA over 5 that you can see here. An ERA over 5, he's 3-3, just averaging 13 DK points. But at home, an ERA of just 2.2, averaging near 26 DK points. So double the production at home for Woodruff so far this season. Got a nice matchup going up against Colorado. So I think he's a great pivot off of Cole. If you want to be a little bit different, you're probably not going to get both of them into your lineups. It's going to be very difficult. There are some cheap bats out there, but still 3.7K remaining. If you put both of them in, I guess it's possible, but I don't know. I'd have to fool around with the builds just a little bit more. Kyle Wright, I got ranked 3rd among this top tier. We saw his strikeout rate really decrease in the month entering into the All-Star break, which is slightly concerning. But then you kind of look at the teams that he's faced, and it was Washington and St. Louis and Philadelphia. Those are just teams that do not strike out very much. They're like the bottom 10 of the teams in the league that just strike out against right-handed pitching. The Angels, who he's facing tonight, are on the complete opposite end. The Angels strike out a whole lot, so it would not shock me if Wright is able to get back to his early season form where he was seeing 6, 7, 8, 9 strikeouts in a game. So I do think Wright at 9.1K is probably my 3rd option in the top tier. Bassett and Urias are just kind of rounding things out. Fine. They're not fades by any mean, but they're fine. They're there. In that mid-tier, I got Singer up at the top. Called him more of a gut play or whatnot than anything. I don't know. But, he's been pitching pretty well as of late. He's got some nice metrics and nice analytics to go along with it. He's kind of limiting a lot of his damage. His strikeout rates have gone up. Just all positive signs. He hasn't faced Murderer's Row. He faced Oakland twice. He faced Cleveland and Detroit twice. Wow, could not get that out, even though I'm looking at it. Oakland and Detroit twice, and Cleveland. But still, 16, 19, 15, 20 DK points. The game logs look good, but also the metrics, his actual pitching, those numbers look good as well. So I think it's more of a lack of a lot of uninterest in the guys above him in this mid-tier that kind of makes Singer kind of stick out at 7.6K. Snell, ultimate boomer bust guy. This is GPP only. I'm just going to add this little note in here. He's GPP only. He's going up against the Mets. Left-handers against the Mets have not fared well at all this season. So I think this is more of a bust play. But his ceiling alone kind of puts him up a little bit here. So I'm just going to put him there just because of the ceiling. Sandoval, Wood, kind of rounding things out. Again, they're kind of like the Urias and Bassett. I'm not super thrilled with either of them. They're there. They're fine. Sandoval, Atlanta strikes out a whole lot, so maybe he can get some strikeouts in there. And then Wood, just a brutal matchup going up against the Dodgers. DK says Marquez here for Colorado going up against Milwaukee. I don't think that's right. I think it's going to be Urania. I think DK's wrong. I'm going to trust MLB.com and the MLB app that all say Urania's in there. And that's going to be a total fade for me for Colorado. But going down to the cheap tier, Max Meyer, he's going to be the top guy down in this field. If you don't know yet, Max Meyer, he's like one of the top pitching prospects in all of baseball. He had his MLB debut right before the All-Star break, going up against Philly. It didn't go too well. A couple home runs, a lot of earned runs, but he was able to get 5 strikeouts, so 7.2K. Much easier matchup now going up against Pittsburgh. So 6.1K, top pitching prospect in baseball, going up against a weak team. It's fine. You can throw him in your lineups, plug and pray, and just kind of hope that that the hype around him kind of comes through. So Max Meyer is probably my favorite guy down in this low tier, followed by Quintana, Hearn, and then Lyles and Bumgarner. They're there, not too thrilled. Lyles has a brutal matchup going up against the Yankees. Bumgarner going up against Washington. They don't strike out a whole lot, but I do really like this Arizona side. So I'm kind of just banking on that. He can get you 5-6 innings pitched, kind of limit some of the damage, get a win, and kind of move on. So that's pretty much why he's there. Fades, Pilkington, left-handed pitcher going up against the White Sox. Nope. So I'm going to be fading him. I already talked about Urania. Sanchez, he's back after what seemed like a 10-year break from baseball, but he's back. I want to see more from him. Caprillion against Texas, nope. And then Patino and Lind, just not interested. So let's turn to the bats. Milwaukee, they're the top team. They're going up against Urania. Again, Milwaukee. DK says Marquez. I don't think it's Marquez. I think it's going to be Urania. If it is Marquez, I'm going to bump Milwaukee down on my rankings. But if it's Urania, I think Milwaukee is probably one of my favorite teams on the slate here. So let's go look at their hitters. The best hitters that they have against Urania's pitch hand, it's going to be Adames. It's going to be Renfroe. Wong's got some nice numbers in there as well. Tellez, I think, is probably my favorite standalone one-off play on the slate today. Just 3.5K. That is just far too cheap for him. So Tellez is probably that guy there. But nice Milwaukee stack right there. Yelich, his numbers are fine, but they're pretty equal to a lot of these other guys, and he's just as more expensive than all of them. So if you do go Yelich in there, totally fine with that. No issues. But I think Milwaukee's probably my top stack on the entire day. Below them, I love the Chicago White Sox. I love the White Sox going up against left-handed bats. They did lose Luis Robert to the IL. He was having some blurred vision, headaches, so hopefully he's going to be all right there. But still, I just absolutely love the White Sox going up against left-handed pitching. It's going to be Anderson. It's going to be Abreu. Probably my favorite play on the White Sox here would be AJ Pollock. He's got some of the best numbers on the team against left-handed pitching, and he's only 3K. So, Pollock, Tellez, there's two guys that are just, super cheap that you can throw into your lineups and just kind of mix and match if you want some one-offs there. But yeah, love Chicago White Sox. Pairing them with the New York Mets, I think could be a nice GPP route they could go. The White Sox and the Mets, they're two teams that absolutely mash left-handed pitching, and they both get left-handed pitchers that can get blown up quite a bit. So at first base, you're just going to choose between Alonso and Abreu. I'd probably lean towards Alonso there. Third base, Escobar's got fantastic numbers, so maybe throw Escobar in there. Tim Anderson, just absolutely fantastic. I already talked about AJ Pollock, 3K. Where'd he go? There he goes. AJ Pollock, Marte. Maybe throw in, let's throw a pitcher in here. Let's throw in Woodruff because we said Cole's probably going to see more of the ownership. We'll throw in Woodruff, and we got 4.4K remaining. This is a mini stack with the Mets and the White Sox, but it's totally possible that you can throw these guys in here. Maybe throw in Singer at 7.6K. It's going to leave you with 3.6 remaining for the rest of your bets with Woodruff, Singer, Alonso, Tim Anderson, AJ Pollock, instead of Starling Marte. So I love the Chicago White Sox and New York Mets kind of combination. So you can say I got the New York Mets top GPP just because Snell, he has those ceiling games where he's just untouchable, but he can get blown up quite a bit. So I like them there. Arizona, I think, is another team that I just want to target here real quick, just because they're cheap. They're a top cheap play, but I do think that they could be slid over here into one of the top team plays as well. Going up against Sanchez, like I said, he's back. Kelly, we'll see if he's catching today. He was lead off last night. He was popular, so we'll see if he's catching again tonight. Remains to be seen. But Ketel Marte, Rojas, Walker, he's got great numbers. Alec Thomas, if he's back in, fantastic numbers against right-handed pitching. Luplow for sure. But I do think Arizona provides a lot of value in their bats, and I mean, a lot of upside in their bats as well. So they could be a team that could pair with Milwaukee. They could be a team that you pair with the Mets or, whoever, the White Sox. I feel like those are kind of like my favorite 4 teams are the Brewers, White Sox, Mets, and the Diamondbacks. Everybody else you can kind of see in the rankings here. Other top teams that I got, Texas, Cleveland, in their matchup. GPP, it's the big bats, but they're GPP just because they're so expensive. The Yankees, the Braves, the Dodgers, cheap teams if you want to target the Giants, Miami Marlins, the Rays and the Royals. I already talked about how, or maybe I didn't talk about it. Vegas has this run total very high. They're expecting a lot of runs from Tampa Bay. They're expecting a lot of runs from Kansas City. I don't see it personally, but I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong at this game, but I think that run total is going to be going a little bit under with these 2 offenses, with Singer on one side. So 150 max for me on this side. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of the rankings for today. Obviously, I got more research to do. Things are going to be adjusted quite a bit. But for now, Cole's your number 1. Woodruff, I think, is a nice, pivot off of him in GPP. And then the Brewers, Mets, White Sox, and Diamondbacks are probably my favorite 4 teams. So that kind of rounds things out. I don't think salary is going to be an issue today. So as always, good luck in your contests, and we will see you in the next video.